gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Right, we've been down and beat up for so long that we gain spiritual calluses to where individuals like this don't even care about no more. They can't do nothing to us. They can come up, walk up to us, and damn near spit on us, and it almost won't do nothing to us. You would want to protect ourselves, but now we're at the time where we want the Lord to show up and show out on this devil. You know, we want to provoke the Lord in that way by doing nothing, because we know the Lord gonna show up.
All right, shalom, shalom. This is Zariah Ben Yasharallah, Diane Lions in Camp. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Father and to the Son, and the Paleo Hebrew tongue. Call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amath. A double honor to the elders and apostle, Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. A double honor to my elder apostle down here as well, a hard one by Yasharallah. Also, a double honor to the bishop as well, Hamak Saham by Yasharallah down in Lions in Camp. Shalom to the Akim, the Aquathim, the Bunyam, the brothers, the sisters, and the children who are pushing truth, believe it with sincerity. It's like the water, Shalom. This is I mean, you saw the clip, man. It's been circulating, man. So, Ka'alayim La Yabashim Yahushai. Shit, hey, we in them times. It's just, you know, it's really cool. But really, I wanted to pinpoint the part that the brother Thanyala, whose video it was. I mean, his words rang real resonated deep within me. Just the fact that, because that's really how it is. We really want the Lord to fight for us ultimately. But the whole video of the dude as well, what's his name, Remington. I thought about this. So this is 2 Maccabees chapter 9. Start at verse 1, and to give a little bit of context, the prologue of 2 Maccabees is here in my Bible that's in front of me. It says, Antiochus is chased from Persepolis. He is stricken with a sore disease, and promiseth to become a Jew. He dieth miserably. So this is the context. It says, about that time, I'm gonna start at verse 1. About that time came Antiochus with dishonor out of the country of Persia, for he had entered the city of Persepolis, and went unto rob the temple and to hold the city, whereupon the multitude, running to defend themselves with their weapons, put them to flight, and so it happened. That Antiochus, being put to flight of the inhabitants, returned with shame. Now when he came to Ecbatane, news was brought with him what had happened to Nicanor and Timotheus. Swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him flee. He was mad, real mad, big mad. Therefore commanded he and his chariotmen to drive without ceasing, and to dispatch the journey. The judgment of Yahweh now following him. Wow, that sounds scary. For he had spoken proudly in the sort that he would come to Jerusalem and make it a common burying place of the Jews. But the Lord Almighty, Yahweh, the power of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague. And that's invisible plague is con. I'm thinking in today's time, like won't show up on no tests or nothing like that. You get all the scans and stuff like that, whatever, and then they can't find what's wrong. It's really a judgment from the Lord or as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels that was remediless came upon him, and sore torments of the inner parts. All right, so ultimately, right here, it was his organs. That's crazy. And that most justly, it was just, and that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments. Wow, so he had probably had contraptions and was deriving pleasure off of doing that type shit to people and shit, to our people specifically. Howbeit, verse 7, howbeit he nothing at all ceased from this bragging. Wow. He nothing at all ceased from his bragging, but still was filled with pride. Right. That's Esau right now. Even though they're laden thick with clay, even though they're Salakia, coming down with great wrath, seeking whom they may devour. All right, all that's going to be for naught ultimately, all of it. All right, they still bragging, still prideful. All right, that dude that came up to the camp, Remington. All right, as well as other Edomites and 2/3 of our people in the same like-mindedness. All right, wanting America to prosper, wanting America to get better. All right, breathing out fire in his rage against the Jews. All right, hey, Khan. And not literal, he was just very mad. And commanding to haste the journey, but it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pained. Bro, the Lord probably had an angel throw his ass down. It's because the way it says he fell down from his chariot, carried violently, like he must have felt like Family Guy, or like, oh my gosh, like carried violently, like it was a bad fall. Already, oh man, he already got the innards twisted, so it's like, God dang, the judgment of the Lord was following, the scripture said. All right, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pain. So he probably had his pinky toe started hurting, man. His knee, oh man, he was jacked up. And verse 8, and thus he that a little afore thought he might command the waves of the sea, so proud was he beyond the condition of man. How many people we know like that for real? And thus he that a little afore thought, just a little bit ago, he might command the waves of the sea, so proud as the condition. It's like it. So proud was he beyond the condition of man, forgetting the humans, forgetting we're still in these mortal coils, and weigh the high mountains in a balance, and now was now cast on the ground and carried in a horse litter. That's something you attach to, or I'll just show you. There you see, horse litter, attached to the horses, and it pulls you. So he was carried, propped up, wheelbarrow-ish. They got a big horse. That's a pretty horse, as a matter of fact. Now I'm looking at it. I would really like to have a horse. That'd be so cool. I was looking up horse shampoo. That bit costs so much money. So having a horse, you have to buy food and stuff. It costs so much money, but it'd be raw. It'd be so cool. Clunk, 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 clunk. Anyway, my bad. It's like it. So it's horse litter. Verse 8. Thought he might command the waves of the sea. So proud was he beyond the condition of man, and weigh the high mountains in a balance, and was now cast on the ground and carried in a horse litter, showing forth unto all the manifest power of Yahweh. Right. That's what's going to, and this is what's going to happen to these modern day Edomites, all right, these modern day heathens, these modern day enemies of our people. All right. So much so that he wanted to turn the city of Jerusalem into a grave site for our people. All right, and there's still that spirit out there right now against our people. All right, still wanting to consume us. All right, and that's that darkness. All right, we're creatures of light. All right. Manifest power of Yahweh, verse 9. So that the worms rose up out of his body. So that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man. So Most High had worms spawn from the inside of him. Bro, hey, Most High had worms spawn from the inside of him, bro. All right, I'm thinking botfly type shit, you know. Damn, that's crazy. Worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man, right? So all these wicked individuals that we meet on a day-to-day basis, on the outside of the cup, they probably, that's polished to the T, but the inside of the cup, bro. And whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, it's like, yeah, I'm a little bit stuffy. God damn, not right now. All right. Verse 9. So that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man, and whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away. He started rotting. Bro. His flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his own, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army. He was loud. That boy was loud. He was stank. Not stink. He was stank. Verse 10. And the man that thought a little afore he could reach to the stars of heaven. Right. Esau, setting his nest among the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry for his intolerable stink. It is stink, not stink. It's stink or con. Verse 11. Here therefore, being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride. Right. Being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride. All right, and that's what's happening right now. All right. At the same time, Esau is really ramping up to do like more and more evil, and he's prideful and showing forth. At the same time, he's gonna have to wake up to shame and see that true power is with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, the heathen as well, 2/3 of our people. All right, Lord willing, I and the Akim that teach in truth and sincerity are of the elect, the first fruits. Intolerable stink, verse 11. Moment. Okay. Here therefore, being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride and come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of Yahweh, his pain increasing every moment. God dang. And when he himself could not abide his own smell, he started to smell himself. He was like, yeah, bro, this ain't cool. All right, that's how bad the smell is. Usually when you smell bad, you go nose blind, but when you smell yourself, that's bad. He said these words, Antioch, it is meet to be subject unto Yahweh, right? Right. And that a man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself if he were a god, right? It's like if he were God, if he were Yahweh, right? This wicked person vowed also unto the Lord, so he did. So So that means that if there's any other wicked people, and listen to the wording, wicked people on the outside, they might look, their cup will be clean, but on the inside of the cup, if they're a wicked person and they vow unto the Lord, who now no more would have mercy upon him. The Lord will have no mercy upon him. The Lord don't have mercy upon wicked people. Of course, you have people who have done wickedness, but then they turn their life to the Lord. So ultimately, they aren't wicked. They were just righteous individuals who were beguiled for a time, and then they woke up to who they are spiritually. So, but when just like I think it's Romans. She one to honor, one to dishonor. Con. Wow, what? Saying this. Verse 13. This wicked person vowed also unto the Lord, who now no more will have mercy upon him, right? Saying thus, that the holy city, to the which he was going in haste to lay it even with the ground, and to make it a common burying place. Right, he was just talking about that. He would set at liberty. I'm a freedom boy. Oh, hey. And as touching the Jews, whom he had judged not worthy so as to be buried, but to be cast out with their children, to be devoured of the fowls and wild beasts, he would make them all equals to the citizens of Athens. Oh, thank you, Esau. Hold on. I think Antiochus, he was a Persian, right? So, thank you. I don't know. Thank you, heathen. I guess shit, heathen. Right? Ironically, goddamn it, reluctantly, goddamn it. Verse 16, and the holy temple, which before he had spoiled, right? Just got done messing it up, ransacking it, spoiled. He would garnish with goodly gifts. Yeah, my bad. Here's a stimulus check. Here's Black Panther, Wakanda forever. you know, trying to what's the scripture say? Roughly paraphrasing. Seek to please the poor, restore goodly gifts, and restore all the holy vessels, and with many more, and out of his own revenue defray the charges belonging to the sacrifices. Right? Let me look up that. Defray. To pay, cover, or provide money for cost or expenses. Formal word often used when an organization, company, or person gives funds to cover all or part of a financial burden. So, and out of his own revenue, so from his own pocket, he was finna pay for the charges belonging to the sacrifice. All right, so he was finna fix everything. He was going, buy his way out of it type shit. Silver and gold cannot save you from the judgment of the Lord. So hold on. Silver and gold shall not save thee in that day. So like from the judgment of the Lord. Verse 17, yeah. And that also he would become a Jew himself. Yeah. Wouldn't he be Jewish? And go through all the world that was inhabited and declare the power of Yahweh. For all this, his pains would not cease. Dang. All that hooting and hollering they be doing with the chickens, the Khazars, the small hats. If they ain't wearing a small hat, they wearing a really, really big hat, really, really big furry hat. Will not cease his pains will not cease, for the judgment of Yahweh was come upon him. Right. Gotta happen, bud. It's the way the cookie crumbles. The judgment of the Lord is come upon you. Same way the judgment of the Lord came upon our people, Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which is why we're in this predicament that we are in right now, here in America, dealing with these so-called Caucasian people, dealing with them, you know why they hate our people so much, why that perpetual hatred. All right, all because these individuals have to have are controlled. Job 9:24. Therefore, verse 18, but for all this, his pains will not cease, for the just judgment. I ain't peeped that, Slakia. For the just judgment of Yahweh was come upon him. Therefore, despairing of his health, he wrote unto the Jews the letter underwritten, containing the form of a supplication after this manner. So he was writing letters. He was like, hey, please, let me become a Jew. Let me, Shabbat Shalom, guys. Let's get some good gefilte fish after this manner. Antiochus, king and governor, to the Jews, his citizens, wisheth much joy, health, and prosperity. I bet. If ye and your children fare well, and your affairs be to your contentment, I give very great thanks to Yahweh, having my hope in heaven. I was supposed to stop at verse 18. So let me go back to verse 18. But for all this, his pains will not cease, for the just judgment of Yahweh was come upon him. Therefore, despairing of his health, he wrote to the Jews the letter underwritten, containing the form of a supplication after this manner. But the point was the fact that he was so filled with pride, man. All right, and spiritually, well, not spiritually, but twofold from the scripture. All right, people are also gonna. Matter of fact, let me go get that real quick.